How you doing? I'm Todd.
I'm Lee.
We're from Judge Jackson, and we're here to tell you that we have an EP 5-song record coming out on Tuesday, November the 26th, 2013, called Table 7. We're going to give you a little preview off it, but real quickly, I'm just going to kind of explain it to you so when you're listening to it at home, it'll make a little bit more sense to you. First off, we got to go back to 1995 when Lee and I met at a place we lived at called the Junkyard in North Hollywood, where this band basically started. We jammed there, we lived there, we wrote there. It was our melting pot. Jerry Lee Rowe is the guy we wrote this record for. He's a friend of ours, and we met him basically right around the same time we met. He was our third roommate, if you want to call it. I'm not sure he really paid rent, but he sure paid rent by feeding us every other day of the year. He brought us all the goodies we ever needed. He was so generous, it was ridiculous. I don't even know how we survived those lean years because people like Jerry, would come by and hook us up with whatever we needed. He was that kind of a guy. So he has been here from the whole get. Tragically, last year he was in a boating accident and passed away on the 4th of July. So this is what we did to honor our buddy and trying to make sense of the emotions that we feel going through something like that when a very close friend dies. Table 7, the last time I saw Jerry was at the end of June at a friend's wedding, a guy named Mark Trailer. He had a wedding, and it was held at a little rustic inn out in Santa Clarita, just outside of LA. And it was a beautiful little restaurant, and there was probably 8 tables in the place. Each table had, people from the wedding party. I think 6 of them were on the bride's side, and maybe 1 or 2 were on Mark's side. And table 7 was where I was seated with a lot of other Mark's buddies. Jerry sat next to me, and throughout the situation, it was crazy because Debbie, his wife, she ended up grabbing the microphone, turned it into a camp scenario. We are table number 7, where is table number 2? Turned into a real lively party, and it was a great time. We had filet mignon. I remember at the end of eating that beautiful cut of steak, the waitress had made a mistake, and she even brought another plate of filet mignon to us. And Jerry and I did rock, paper, scissors to see who was going to get it. He won, and I'll never forget that. And if I had known, or anybody known at the table, that a few days later our buddy would pass away, I don't think there's a damn thing we would have done differently. So there's where table 7 comes. It was from that dinner, and the last time I saw my buddy, a few days later, like I said, a tragedy happened out on the water. And on July 4th, we went up to the hospital. He'd been in ICU for a few days. Lee and I, my wife, drove out to Bakersfield where he was at. Said our goodbyes. It was the second time we'd gone out there in a few days, actually. And literally, as we were leaving, Debbie was crawling into the bed with them, and they were playing some songs. And basically, it was the end. The family was there. We left. It was tough. And that was how we celebrated this 4th of July. So the 4th of July tune is the second tune on it. Obviously that makes sense where that came. I swear the next day Lee came over with the riff for that. And that's what we wrote on the 5th of July. Just trying to get the emotions out. That's what songwriting's always been for us. And so this is no exception to that. And Dreamer, one of the third track on the record, our buddy Mark, who we were at the wedding that fateful day, he had a gallbladder operation. He almost died on the operating table. They put him in the ICU. We picked up Debbie and we went out there to see him once he got out of the hospital. And as we were driving out to see him in Quartz Hill, I know Debbie was in the back seat and she was talking about Jerry and talking about how she used to dream all the time. And she goes, I just want to have a dream of my man. And I haven't had any dreams. I just go to bed and I wake up and I used to have all these great vivid dreams. And so Dreamer was provoked from that conversation I had with her there. Say Goodbye is pretty obvious. I think that's my way of, I always use the reference, the movie Braveheart. When at the very beginning, young Wallace's dad has been killed in battle and they're burying him. They're at the gravesite. And it's at nighttime and he's up there with a few of his, or some of the buddies of his father up there, and they're kind of getting drunk and playing music on his grave. And I remember that young Wallace was asking an elder, what are they doing? What's going on over there? I mean, I know my dad just got buried and whatnot. And he made a comment, this is how his friends celebrate his life. And I always thought that was pretty touching. So this is how we celebrated our buddy's life. We just make music and we try and make sense out of it that way. So without further ado, oh hey, at the very end of the record is an a cappella piece. We ended up getting like 25 of Jerry's friends and family into this studio here. And we were able to march it out, and just like an Irish, kind of the McTavish and Me, a Scottish-Irish drinking tune, the kind of tune where you'd sing with your buddies at the bar at a funeral kind of drinking kind of a song. That's what we were trying to go for there. We're going to play a little piece of Believer, the very first track on the record. And it goes something like this, but anyways, we hope you enjoyed as much as, well, we enjoyed making it, but it certainly came from a dark, dark, deep place in our heart. But this is for our buddy Jerry. We hope you enjoyed the record. Until next time, we'll see you on the road. Before I'm a believer.